But the AD 2000 movement actually tried to bridge some of the conflict, at least between the Protestant groups. They said at least the Protestant groups should organize and target, instead of each other, we should target the heathen. We should target those that needed to be converted. And then from AD 2000, and the idea was to plant a church among every people group. This is where, you go to a village in India and you see suddenly a church has cropped up. This is not just happening accidentally because something has happened. This is part of that entire warlike strategy that was set out over 20 years ago, almost 30 years ago. And the idea was that they would go and they would plant a church, and that church would become the seed for converting all the people around. And the co-chairman was Billy Graham. And again, this is a very, very strong and powerful movement that is intricately connected with the American power structure. So it is intricately, the president, I was talking about Southern Baptists, several US presidents have been Southern Baptists, almost every US president, including the Democrats. So this is not some Republican thing. Like for instance, Bill Clinton addressed the Southern Baptist Convention, George Bush addressed the Southern Baptist Convention. So this is a very, very powerful, and in fact some years ago even a Tehelka report had come out, and that report had said that the CIA is involved, academics are involved, an entire fact gathering, huge data gathering effort was involved for this Joshua Project mission. So thousands and thousands of paid researchers in India, including Indians, are involved in all the data gathering and then on all the action plans. So it's like there is a war happening. There is a massive war happening. It's been happening for decades, where one side is mobilized for the war. They have war strategies. They have soldiers on the ground. They are attacking every day. And the other side does not even know the war exists. This is the state we are in right now. And even in fact, to talk about the fact that the war exists is supposed to be not right. We are not even supposed to know that this war exists. This is somehow communal to say that this is a war going on, even though the facts are out there. Anybody can go to the Joshua Project website and see this. So this is not something we are making up. And I've gotten some quotes, and I actually originally wrote this article, I think in 2003 or 4. It's called the Freedom of Religion article. So even for 15 years, we have been talking about it, but the level of awareness in Indian society is very, very low. And so this was the quote. Some of these quotes and stats are from my article from 15 years ago. And so this is the approach, and it's very important to understand the approach. So they're talking about the Sonar people here in the project website. And there's the Sonar people of Maharashtra are the primary crafters of gold and silver Hindu idols. These idols are the most powerful stronghold that Satan has upon Hindu worshippers in India and around the world, because all these idol worship is satanic. So, and the idea is to go and target that community. We say if we turn the Sonars into Christians, then if they embrace the gospel of Jesus Christ, we will see the collapse of Hinduism. So this is the kind of thinking that drives it. They're saying that it's a war path, and we need to see the collapse of Hinduism. We need to eradicate it, and that is the only way forward.
Is this line, the bottom line, is it written in the Joshua Project?
This I have a reference in my article on my website. I don't know if it is from the Joshua Project or the Southern Baptist site. So the reference is there in the article. Yeah, I've noticed in recent times they have cleaned it up a little bit, so the older quote might not be still available because they're trying to make it a little more palatable. But this is the basic crux of the matter. And India has the largest number of target groups in Joshua Project. They have something called the 1040 window. What is the 1040 window? Is the window between 10 degree north latitude and 40 degree north latitude. This is the 1040 window, which has the most number of unconverted people. Out of those, if you look at it, a lot of those are Islamic countries which do not actually allow the proselytization to happen. So India is the number one biggest target and the most easy target of the conversion war, right? And so they have the kind of detail they have, 102,480 Bhotia people in Sikkim, 47,000 Sherpas, 162,000 Tibetan Buddhists, 3,100, 300, 165,200 Banya Jains, 3.4 million Auroras. So they've like gone and done like very, very detailed. And then it's on every village level. Every village level they've done how many of which community are there, how do you target them, how do you talk to a Jain versus how do you talk to a Sikh person. All of that is in very, very detail. They have strategized it. And they've strategized it over decades. In fact, there is an entire field of theology which is mission studies, right? So they have entire colleges of professors, researchers, academicians that are looking at research on how do you convert somebody, missionology, what is the Christology, missionology, what is all the strategy to deploy. In India also there are colleges, entire colleges that train missionaries, right, on conversion. So all the way down to tribal Mongpa 850 people, or they're the Banjaras they're targeting, all this. And I look at I looked at their targeting of Banjaras, and there was something really sad feeling that came, because it's such a rich wealth of tradition, of custom, and once you say you have to leave all that and only Jesus is valid, the whole thing starts to shift. You cannot have the same kind of devotion, you cannot have the same kind of music, you cannot have the same kind of dance. All of that gets destroyed. So it's not just saying, oh, you accept one God, take another God, but it's an entire ecosystem that gets destroyed as part of that conversion. It's also important to realize that the maximum conversion has happened over the last 50 years, for instance in Africa, after the colonization ended. Even in India, more conversion has happened after independence than happened before independence. Most of the Naga people were also converted after independence. Northeast, all of the Northeast is converted after independence. Now there's a huge effort in the South, there's a huge effort in Punjab.
Is there a collaboration of the political party power?
Well, I think both things have happened. In fact, there were commissions that were set up under the Congress. Indira Gandhi was also opposing some of this thing because she was...
I remember one thing that Dr. Brahmano Loya used to oppose
Yeah.
missionary who was allowed, or he was the only one who was allowed to do all these things and all.
Yes. No, so there is definitely a collaboration, because the way when you have, this is like in fact 2000, figures from over a decade ago, $50 billion is poured into missionary activity every year. If you look at the scale of that money, right, you can see that every level of society can be corrupted. The media is obviously completely sold out, right? So it's very difficult to find this in media, right? A lot of the bureaucrats are with them. A lot of the politicians have also been co-opted, right? In India, you co-opt them very simply by saying this is secular. So right-wing Christianity becomes secular, and opposing right-wing Christianity becomes communal. It's the strangest thing in the world. So talking about the fact that this is, and one of the